tutorial for the Newton's second law concept builders. I'm asking you to work on these in class when I am out with Team Physics at All Saints Academy on April 10th, and they are due by the evening of April 12th. So this should help you. I'm asking you to do the apprentice level and the master level. You could do the wizard level for bonus, but you don't have to. So I'm going to go through just a couple examples here in the master level. Notice I have this on replay mode. All the concept builders that we've done, you could do on replay mode. They won't count toward any of your assignments. But basically that's a way to get practice again, even if you've already done them. So I'm going to go ahead here. So as always, use the Help Me menu. View the directions if you need to. When you complete a level, that's saved in the system, but you need to complete each level that's assigned for it to be recorded properly. You can't stop halfway through a level. So this says an object has an acceleration of 6 meters per second. The mass is halved with no change in net force. The new acceleration would be what? Well, acceleration is net force over mass. So if the force stays the same and the mass is halved, that means that same force is accelerating 1/2 the mass, so you should get double the acceleration, so that would be 12. You can either go here and type 12, or you could just type it in directly here. So I'm going to go ahead and check the answer. Very good. Next one says an object has an acceleration of 6 meters per second if the mass is reduced to 1/3 the original value. So reducing it to 1/3 is essentially the same as multiplying the acceleration by 3, because your acceleration is force over mass. The mass is 1/3 as much. So 6 divided by 1/3 is 6 times 3, so that would be 18. Let's check if there's one here with force. So if the force is tripled and there's no change in mass, then acceleration is force over mass, so 3 times the force is 3 times the acceleration. That'd be 54. I don't know if any of these have things where you are changing both of the factors at the same time. I know on the wizard level there are, so you'd have to think about changing both the proportions of the force and net mass. But I don't know for the master and the apprentice levels, which is what I've assigned, if you need to do that. So again, you can go back to the main menu. I'm going to return it has not recorded things for me. You want to make sure you get that gold level here. So for the apprentice and the master completed. The second ranking task here, deal with net force. And again, I'm going to do a couple on the master level. So in this case, they're either asking you to rank acceleration or force. So you have to be careful. Acceleration is the harder one to do because you have to use that calculation, net force over mass. So they're having 1 for the most negative, 6 for the most positive. Left is negative, right is positive. So this is a challenging one. So I have to think, I've got this, and this all have a net force to the left, so those would be negative net forces. This, and this would have positive net forces. And so the way I'd check which is the most negative, 8 and 2 are both pointed to the left, so that's a negative 10 newtons divided by 0.5 kilograms, so that'd be negative 20 meters per second squared. Here, 8 negative, 6 positive, that's negative 2 newtons. Negative 2 divided by 0.25 kilograms of mass would be negative 8 meters per second squared. So that's not as negative as this one. Here I have negative 6 newtons of force divided by 0.5. That'd be negative 12 meters per second squared. So this gives me negative 20. That's the most negative. This gives me negative 12 meters per second squared. So that's the next most negative. 2 divided by 0.25 is negative 8, so that's the third most negative. Now I'm thinking of these in terms of the positive. So here I have 4 minus 2. That's 2 newtons of net force divided by 0.25. That's positive 8 meters per second squared. Here I have 6 newtons, but it's divided by 2 kilograms, so that's positive 3 meters per second squared. And here I have 10 newtons divided by 10 kilograms. That's positive 1 meter per second squared. So 10 divided by 10 is a positive value, but it's not very positive. So if I'm going from most negative to most positive, this is going to be positive, but not very positive. 6 divided by 2 is positive 3. So that's going to be more positive. And then even though this is only 2 newtons of net force, 2 newtons divided by 0.25 is positive 8 meters per second squared. So that would be the most positive acceleration. So I do quite a bit of thinking for this. Again, there's the help me menu, things like that. I think that's correct. I hope I did my math correctly in my head. You can certainly use a calculator. So this is the net force one. I'm going to do these wrong because I want to get to one that has only net force and not acceleration. We already did one with acceleration. Oh, drats. Okay, so here's one with net force. So with net force, it's not as complicated as acceleration. I'm just looking at the force arrows. I'm not worried about dividing by the masses. So here, I have 8 negative and 4 positive. That's negative 4 newtons of force. That's a positive force. That's 6 and 4 negative, so that's negative 10 newtons of force. 4 and 4 negative is negative 8 newtons of force. So overall, I've got this is the most negative force. It's negative 10 newtons. This is the next most negative force. It's negative 8 newtons. And this is the third one. It only has negative 4 newtons of force. When I think about positive forces here, I have positive 6 and negative 4, so that's plus 2 newtons force. Here I have plus 8 and minus 4, negative 4, so that's plus 4 newtons of force. Here plus 6 and plus 2, that's plus 8 newtons of force. So this is the most positive, so I'll rank that as 6. This is positive, but the least positive, so I'm going to rank that as 4. And then this is positive 4 newtons, which is in between this positive 2 newtons and this positive 8 newtons. So these should be going from most negative force for number 1 to most positive force for number 6. Again, hopefully those help you out.